Hello, YouTube. So this is my first YouTube video, so bear with me. Let's get it. So this is MCM Motorsports, and we're gonna do a lot of streaming of motorsports games from NASCAR 25 to, F1, even iRacing. I'll run a lot of iRacing, so we'll definitely see some of that on here. We're gonna talk about some F1, NASCAR predictions, and IndyCar, IMSA, WEC, just anything you could think of motorsports wise. We're gonna eventually, hopefully, get into some vlogs. I hope to get into some motorsports eventually, especially like mostly stock racing, just some little low down by a Honda Accord, put a roll cage in it, type of thing, and we'll do some vlogs about me building the car and just all of that other good stuff, and we'll see what happens from there. So today we're mostly going to talk about the upcoming IndyCar, NASCAR, and F1 series. We'll talk about IndyCar later. My bad for the slip up, but yeah. So we'll get into all of that. We're going to talk about the new format with NASCAR, what I feel like is going to happen with it, and just the overall response. The NASCAR is going back to the chase, and I really love that. It's what I grew up watching. I wasn't the biggest fan of the playoffs because it didn't really. They wanted to reward the most winning driver, but it didn't. It rewarded luck, dude, and I just couldn't really get behind that. This upcoming season is going to be a lot different. There's no more winning or in. So if you just get lucky and win the Daytona 500 off a slip up, it's not going to really be, you're not going to be in the playoffs. And excuse the lagginess on this game, dude. It's terrible internet right now. But so my top 16 guys, I feel like in 16th place will be Josh Berry. Uh, Coming off a terrible season, playoff wise last year, I feel like he will point his way into the playoffs. And then in the 15th spot, I feel like it'll be Alex Bowman, that fourth Hendricks card. Not really the most consistent driver this past couple years, but he is, in a Hendricks car, so we'll definitely get some. We'll definitely get something out of him. SVG in that 14th spot, very consistent on the road courses, obviously with 5 wins on them last year. So they got a lot of improvement to do on the ovals, and I feel like that's what's going to hold him back. Having 5 wins, he should be up there in the top 5, top 3. But with his performances on the ovals, it's just not something that we'll see. Kyle Busch, dude, I know you're probably surprised about this one. I feel like he's gonna, this format will reward him and eventually get him into a playoff position. So we'll chase position. Excuse me. So we'll see what comes from that. And Mr. Busher, dude, I know he's just a meme, but he's been getting real consistent recently. And though he may not have, won anything last year, he was rocking pretty consistent. And I feel like this format will, reward those guys who may not can win a race, but can definitely point their way up there in the top 3 every weekend, top 5 every weekend. Joey Logano, no, he wasn't the most consistent. He's not going to be one of those guys fighting for a championship anymore because it's no more winning you're in, no more win and you're in the next round or win you're in the championship. It's consistency, and Joey Logano being one of those guys, not the most consistent. 10, Bubba Wallace. Yeah, he's gotten wins last year. With the lawsuit, ruling in a favorable way for them, where they're not having to be a non-charter team. I feel like that he's going to have a great season, and he's pretty consistent, dude. You can't deny that. So we'll definitely see what he can do. We'll know more about all of this stuff coming after the Clash and testing and all that. So we'll see. We'll definitely see coming after this. In the number 9 spot, we got Tyler Reddick. That Tyler Reddick is a great driver. He's definitely gonna see some benefits from this new system. Chase Briscoe in that 8th spot. After finishing in the top 4 last year, you can't deny that he's one of the guys to watch now. So we'll definitely see what he can produce next season. And in that 7th spot, Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney, he's probably the best Ford driver, the most consistent Ford driver. Yes, Joey has the most championships, but how has he won those championships? Let's be honest. We're going to see Ryan Blaney in that 7 spot potentially. I feel like he's going to be anywhere between the 7, anywhere, but potentially even the top 3. And you just got to see how consistent he is. Danny Hamlin in that 6th spot. I don't think he's going to, especially after all the stuff he's had to go through last year, from his father dying to losing in a heartbreaking fashion and just dealing with that court case. I feel like it's definitely a system that benefits him. It's just going to be tough to overcome all of that and produce a long, consistent 36 race season essentially to be a champion, because every race does matter regardless of the points reset. Uh, then we will get William Byron in that 5 spot. He's always been one of the top guys in the series. He's always been up there rocking with Kyle Larson and Seabell. So we'll definitely see what he can produce this season. Can he go 3 straight at the 500 this weekend? Well, in a few weeks. Maybe. That'd be a sight to see if he can pull 3-peat off. And then we got Ross Chastain in that 4 spot. Yeah, that's a little skeptical, but he's been getting consistent. I feel like this format's he's gonna be one of the guys that benefit from this format. So we'll definitely see what he can do this season. Chase Elliott, he's definitely the guys who is loving this change. It's not the 36 race format everybody wanted and loved and needed, but he's definitely going to be one of the guys who can benefit from this. Always in the top 10, got a win last year at Atlanta in a beautiful fashion. So we'll definitely see what Chase Elliott can do, and if he can produce a top 3 finish in points. Christian Bale will be that number 2 guy, back-to-back Winston point format champion if we still ran the old Winston format way. So, yeah, we'll definitely see something from Seabell this year, being one of the consistent drivers in the series. And you've obviously been waiting for me to say this name, Kyle Larson. I think he's going to be a back-to-back champion. If this was been the format for last season, yes, he would have been the champion. And can he pull it off again? I think so. He's the driver to watch. He's the driver to beat. He's who everybody's going to have to watch out for next season. So let's get into the Daytona 500 and the Bowman Gray Clash. Who do I think is going to win the Bowman Gray Clash? It's not going to be anybody spectacular, but I truly feel like Chase Elliott can do that. He's a great short track driver, and I feel like he's going to pull something off there. He had a great running last year, just didn't end the way everybody expected it to. So we can see what will happen from there. The Daytona 500 is going to be a spectacular event, but I think we're going to see a Ford win at Daytona. I don't know who. I'm not going to say who right yet, but I'm feeling it's going to be a Ford. So that's it for NASCAR right now. We're going to jump on into F1. We're going to talk about Audi and Cadillac, what I think they're going to do, and stuff. I really don't know much about Cadillac at the moment, but Audi, we've seen some releases from them, leaked footage of testing here before Spain, so it sounds pretty good. Do I think they're going to be guys competing for the championship? No, I highly doubt it. But they will be a consistent team here in the future. I think they will be a top 5 team in the future. I don't think they're going to be any of those lower teams yet, but we'll see. Cadillac, we really haven't heard much from them. Yes, they got a stout driving lineup, but is the driving lineup matter when we don't know much about the car? It really doesn't matter. You look at Lewis in a Ferrari. So we'll just see from that. Red Bull and Mercedes, I feel like those are going to be the 2 teams to watch this year. I've been hearing a lot about how they're just ahead of the pack, essentially cutting the grass there. But they're ahead of the pack, and with Max Verstappen being at Red Bull, he might be the guy to watch again this year. He had a little tractor last year until that engine upgrade, to the car upgrade, and they started rocking pretty hard. So we'll definitely see what they can do. So Red Bull and Mercedes can do next year. Well, this upcoming season here soon, in a few weeks actually. It's flying by. And so I'm gonna give a little prediction of who I think my top three will be for the season. I feel like Oscar Piastri coming off last season will be that three spot, and I don't think Lando's going to be one of those guys. I feel like he gets a little cocky at times and has a little attitude, and I feel like the championship might get to his head, and so we'll see what happens there. Um, I I really expect a lot from Oscar, and I hope to see him do well in that Mercedes, the McLaren, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Then we got George Russell in that two spot, rocking the Mercedes. Got me all mixed up today, but yeah, George Russell's going to have a great season, and that I feel like he'll finish top two. Honestly, but the man he's got to beat is Verstappen, obviously, and that's just something that you can't do unless you got the better car. We saw that last year, but with the rumors coming out about how Red Bull and Mercedes are just so far ahead of the pack, um, it's hard to deny Max Verstappen here, and we'll see after testing how stuff truly figures out and funnels out. And I can probably give y'all more accurate updates after testing and the Bowman Gray Clash. So we'll go into IndyCar here in our next video. We'll talk about WEC and do a little overview of what I think IMSA is going to look like this year. And we'll also talk about the Roar Before the 24, which is going on right now in this next video. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And I hope y'all enjoyed this YouTube video. Ignore this terrible driving. I was reading off a little rubric new to all this and was getting distracted. So we'll see what happens. And here soon. Appreciate y'all staying along, and thank you.